After a 1-month break, Formula 1 was back in action with the Belgium Grand Prix on the iconic Spa Francorchamps. Max Verstappen registered another victory to his name on Belgian soil this weekend after an outstanding display of driving from P14 to P1. What happened during the race? Watch the video to find out. Hey guys, welcome back to Max Verstappen Formula 1 channel, the best place for your daily dose of trending news regarding Formula 1. Before we proceed, press the bell button and smash the notification bell for more exciting updates. Both championship rivals Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc started the Belgium Grand Prix at the back of the grid as a result of grid penalties that they served due to exceeding the permitted number of engine parts allowed for the season. Even though the reigning world champion was the quickest in qualifying, he had to give the pole position to Leclerc's teammate Carlos Sainz. 6 other drivers also suffered different types of grid penalties, and Verstappen was lucky enough to start the race at position 14 based on his qualifying performances. Charles Leclerc was 4th quickest in the qualifying session, behind the Red Bull duo and his teammate Sainz. He was dropped up to position 15 in the starting grid behind Verstappen due to exceeding the number of allocated power units per season. So Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez led the starting pack with soft tires, and behind them 2 world champions Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, starting the race with the choice of medium compound tires. Alfa Romeo drivers Valtteri Bottas and 2 championship rival duo Verstappen and Leclerc opted for soft tires to start the race. AlphaTauri's Yuki Tsunoda was the only driver to select hard compound tires. All other drivers opted for medium compound tires, as the strategy was the key to success on this iconic Spa racetrack. From the beginning, it was a tough battle at the front, and Ferrari driver Sainz was able to get a cleaner start with the help of his pole position. Red Bull driver Sergio Perez was unable to secure his P2 as he was overtaken by both drivers behind him. The most interesting fight at the front was between old McLaren teammates Alonso and Hamilton for P2, and it resulted in a collision between them at Les Comes, even before completing the first lap of the race. Hamilton bumped over the front left wheel of Alonso, opening the door by himself for retirement, but his ex-teammate Alonso was lucky to continue the race without causing many incidents. Hamilton accepted responsibility for the collision, as video footage clearly shows the Spaniard was giving enough room for the Mercedes driver to avoid the collision. Angry Alonso described him as an idiot over team radio, as the Spaniard bellowed into his radio, "What an idiot! Closing the door from the outside. I mean, we had a mega start, but this guy only knows how to drive and start in first." Making a statement regarding the incident with Alonso, Hamilton said, "Looking back at the footage, he was in my blind spot, and I didn't leave him enough space today. Just so sorry to the team. It doesn't really matter what he said. I don't care. Like I said, it was my fault, I couldn't see him," he said, further responding to Alonso's statement over radio. But after the race, Alonso seemed to cool down, as he didn't make a huge criticism towards the Brit. Alonso said it was a lap 1 incident, nothing really to say there. The stewards, they didn't say anything because these things happen, especially in that corner. It happened in the past. I remember also when Lewis and Rosberg in 2014. It's a tricky corner. I was frustrated in that moment for sure. Every time we start in the first row, second row, or we are fighting top 2, top 3, there's something going on. And yeah, I was frustrated, but luckily my car was very strong, and nothing happened. I could continue. Lewis did not have the luck and had to retire the car. At the end of the first lap, both Verstappen and Leclerc were capable of making considerable progress through the middle section of the pack. Verstappen and Leclerc were strongly holding the P8 and P10 respectively, with the pace advantage over other midfield cars. As usual, poor Latifi crashed again, and this time into Valtteri Bottas' Alfa Romeo, bringing him out of the track. That was the end of the race for Bottas on his birthday, and it may be the ugliest birthday gift that he has ever received. The safety car was deployed with the effect of that incident, and Verstappen lined up 8th on the grid at the restart, showing a potential for a podium finish. But his rival Ferrari driver had to pit his F1 7.5 with an issue in his front right tire, and came out on a fresh set of medium rubber in P17. That was a big blow to his championship hopes, as he is in a need of every single point to close his gap with the reigning world champion in the driver's standings. At the race restart also, Carlos Sainz was leading the pack with Perez behind him. Alonso and Russell were battling for the third spot at the moment. Within the next few laps, Verstappen was unstoppable with great pace and easily overtook both Alonso and Vettel, as the two former world champions didn't show any strong defense towards the Dutchman. Then he passed George Russell's silver arrow despite his strong defense, claiming P3. Both Verstappen and Sainz complained about higher tire degradation just after driving with softer compounds for 10 laps. 2 laps later, the Ferrari team decided to pit Sainz with a medium set of tires, opening the opportunity for the Red Bull duo to lead the race. Verstappen hunted down the teammate easily to claim the lead of the race, and it was totally a masterclass driving performance from the Dutchman. He stayed 3 seconds ahead of his Mexican teammate with soft rubber, and his race engineers decided to run this older tire setup for a maximum possible distance to widen the gap with Perez. Then Perez was pitted before his teammate, pushing Sainz to the second position. There was a tight battle between Leclerc and Russell for the final podium spot, but the Briton deployed DRS tactically to get himself ahead of the Monegasque driver. Then on lap 26, the Maranello team decided to bring both the F1 7.5 into pit lane one after another. But the tire choice was different for two Ferrari drivers, as Sainz was pitted with hards and Leclerc with a fresher set of medium tires. Carlos Sainz joined back the pack in P4, but Leclerc managed only to claim P7, proving that he was unlucky for the second time. With fresher rubber, he charged through the field to overtake Alpine's Esteban Ocon and 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. But he was not in a strong position to challenge Russell, and the Maranello team went for a 3-stop strategy to take an advantage over George Russell by pitting him with a fresh set of softer rubbers 2 laps before the race ends. But that attempt was in vain, as the Monegasque driver was unable to make any change to his track position. The reigning world champion was able to clinch the victory in the historic Spa track for the second time in a row, and it was another 1-2 finish for the Australian team as well. It is an incredible recovery drive from position 14 to P1, and he showed a similar type of performance by pushing his RB18 from P10 to P1 at the Hungarian Grand Prix also. But their rivals Ferrari lost the final podium position to George Russell in the final part of the race, opening a wider question about the current performance level of F1 7.5. It is simply unmatchable with the performance level of RB18 to compete for a world championship, and they seem to be in trouble with W13. Also, despite their strong start to the season, the curse of the Maranello-based team was not over even after the race, as Leclerc had to experience a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, losing the 5th position to Fernando Alonso. This 1-2 finish for Red Bull means that now they're slowly appearing as the sole contender for both the championships of the season. The Dutchman has extended his championship lead up to 93 points with just 8 races remaining. Perez also jumped back to the second position by passing Leclerc in the standings. The Milton Keynes-based squad has widened Constructors' Championship advantage over Ferrari up to 97 points too. So everything is happening in a way that favors Red Bull Racing, and both Verstappen and Perez are unstoppable with the powerful RB18 from Red Bull powertrains. Then Ferrari needs to show strong and consistent performance in the next 8 races. If they want to win the championship, that is. So, did you watch the race? What did you think of it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.